did to this thing. But it flat out does not like me. And yes, before you ask, Kit can talk. A whole English vocabulary. With attitude. Right now, I'm crouched in my own closet, holding a broom like it's a sacred weapon, while a big orange tabby cat sits outside the door whispering, "Come out, Tracy. I just want to talk." Which is a lie. Because 5 minutes ago, it told me, very calmly, "I'm going to kill you before sunset." So yeah, welcome to my life. Anyway, hi, and welcome back to my sinister dreams. Today's story is so funny, I forgot to laugh. Grab your favorite drink and enjoy the show, while I try not to get assassinated by a house pet. This all started earlier today when I found a stray tabby sitting on my porch like it paid rent. Big green eyes, tail flicking like it was judging me. I opened the door and said, "Shoo," real gentle. The cat looked me dead in my soul and said, "No." I froze, because I know what I heard. But my brain said, "Nope, we're not doing this today." I tried again, "Shoo." The cat said, "Make me." That's when I knew this was not a regular cat. This was a New Orleans cat. A mystical, scrying, spirit-seeing, attitude-having feline with generational beef. I should have left it alone. But no, I'm me. So I brought out my little scrying bowl. You know, the one I use for visions, dreams, and occasionally checking if my ex is miserable. I set it on the porch. The water shimmered. The air shifted. And the cat leaned over it like it was reading the morning paper. Then it said, "Oh, so that's why you're cursed." I said, "Excuse me?" The cat said, "You heard me. Now listen, I don't know who trained this cat, but it had the confidence of a creature that pays taxes." The water in the bowl started swirling, colors, shapes, a whole vision forming. I saw myself standing in a field of tall grass, holding a lantern, and behind me something huge moved. The cat whispered, "You've been marked." I whispered back, "By who?" The cat said, "By me." And that's when I realized this wasn't a vision, this was a threat. I did what any reasonable adult would do. I ran. Not gracefully, not heroically. More like a cartoon character slipping on marbles. The cat chased me through the house, yelling things like, "You should have minded your business." And "Stop running, I'm small." I dove into the closet, slammed the door, and here we are. After about 10 minutes of silence, the cat finally spoke again. "Tracy, I wasn't going to kill you." I cracked the door open, just a little. The cat sat there, licking its paw like it hadn't just threatened my life. "I was testing you," it said. "Seeing if you're brave enough." "For what?" I asked. The cat's eyes glowed gold. "To be my human?" I blinked. "You're human?" "Yes," it said. "You passed the trial. Barely, but you passed." I said, "What trial? I didn't sign up for anything." The cat shrugged. "Too late. You're chosen." So now I have a mystical, scrying attitude. Heavy tabby cat, living in my house. It sleeps on my pillow. It judges my life choices. It critiques my cooking. And every night before bed it says, "Good night, human. Don't embarrass me tomorrow." I don't know what destiny I've been dragged into. But apparently, I'm somebody's familiar now. And honestly, I've had worse roommates. Thank you for joining me on another episode of My Sinister Dreams. If you enjoyed this chaotic tale, go ahead and like, subscribe, then come back tomorrow, because this cat just told me we re-going on a quest. And I'm scared, or am I? When I finally stepped out of the closet the next morning slow. Cautious, broom still in hand. Expected to see the same orange tabby from yesterday. But no. Standing in the hallway, like it owned the place, was a black cat in a cloak. Jet black, shiny. Like midnight dipped in attitude. I blinked, rubbed my eyes, blinked again. The cat tilted its head and said, "What?" Had to change into something comfortable. Comfortable. A whole new species. A wardrobe upgrade. A color swap like it was changing outfits in a video game? I pointed at it. You were orange yesterday. The cat just shrugged. Seasonal shedding. I stared. That's not how shedding works. The cat smirked. You humans believe anything. I crossed my arms. You lied about that quest, didn't you? The cat let out this low, smug, villain-in-training laugh. Yep, you humans are easy, I sighed. Okay, fine, whatever. Just tell me what you want. The cat's eyes narrowed, its cloak swishing with its own attitude. I want to kill. I stared at it. Here we go again. Because at this point, this cat-threatening murder is just Tuesday. The cat hopped onto the counter, cloak flowing behind it like it practiced dramatic entrances in the mirror. I don't want to kill you, it said. You're too breakable. Wow, I muttered. Thanks. The cat ignored me. I want to kill something else. Something that's been following you. Something old. I froze. Following me. The cat nodded. You didn't notice the shadows last night? The whisper under your bed? The thing that sniffed your door? I swallowed hard. No, I did not notice a nigh of that. The cat rolled its eyes. Humans, no awareness. No instincts. Just vibes. I pointed at the cloak. So, why the outfit change? The cat lifted its chin proudly. Because the creature hunting, you can smell fur. But it can't smell magic. I blinked. So you're wearing a cloak. To hide your scent? The cat nodded. And because I look fabulous? I sighed. You're impossible. The cat flicked its tail. And you're alive because of me. Now get dressed. We have a long night ahead. Either way, it's gonna be a mess. Night came fast. Too fast. The black cat in the cloak sat on my windowsill, staring into the dark. I asked, So, what exactly is coming? It didn't even look at me. Just whispered, You'll see. Which is not comforting at all. The house went quiet, then a soft sound. Not a growl, not a demon, just ... MRRRP. A tiny kitten chirp, that's it? That's the ancient evil? The black cat's cloak puffed up. That is not a kitten, that is a hunter. Stay behind me. I leaned over its shoulder. From the shadows, 2 glowing eyes appeared. The black cat hissed. There it is. The creature stalking you. The eyes came closer, and into the light stepped a fluffy gray cat with a confused face. I blinked. That's it. The black cat gasped. No, this is the wrong monster. The gray cat just went MRRRP and rubbed against my leg. By the time night rolled around, I was done emotionally, spiritually, physically, cosmically. I looked at the black cloak-wearing cat and said, I'm tired. I'm going to bed. I deserve sleep. The cat growled. Like I had personally offended its ancestors. What about the kitten? It demanded. I shrugged. He can come with me. The black cat gasped like I'd just committed a crime. You're letting the enemy into your sleeping quarters. It's a baby, I said. The cat muttered. Something that sounded like humans have no survival instincts, but I didn't care. I scooped up the gray fluff ball, went to bed, and knocked out. I don't know what time it was when the chaos started. All I know is I woke up to a loud crash, a magical humph, and something flying past my bedroom door at high speed. I sat up, rubbed my eyes, and said, What now? I walked into the hallway and froze. Because my living room looked like a supernatural daycare explosion. The black cat and the gray kitten were in the middle of a full-blown magical brawl. Not a fight. A brawl. The black cat was levitating, cloak flapping like it was caught in a hurricane. The gray kitten was spinning in the air like a furry little tornado. Magic sparks flew everywhere. Blue, gold, purple. One of them hit my lamp and turned it into a cactus. I should have been mad. I should have yelled. I should have stopped them. But instead, I laughed. Because this was too good. The black cat shouted, "Stay still so I can destroy you." The kitten chirped, MRRRP, and launched itself like a tiny missile. They collided mid-air and tumbled straight into my laundry basket. Clothes flew everywhere. A sock hit the ceiling fan. My favorite shirt floated past me like it was trying to escape. I leaned against the wall and said, "I wish I had popcorn." The black cat crawled out of the laundry, cloak, crooked fur sticking up like it had been electrocuted. "This is your fault," it hissed at me. The kitten popped out behind it, wearing my sock like a hat. I laughed so hard I almost fell over. The black cat glared. "Stop encouraging it." The kitten chirped again and pounced on the cloak. The black cat screamed, "My robes." I wiped tears from my eyes. This is the best night I've had all week. The next morning, after the magical WWE match in my living room, after the floating cats, after the sock hat incident, I was done. I walked into the living room expecting more chaos. Maybe a fire, maybe a portal, maybe the black cat filing a complaint with the universe. But instead, silence. The black cat and the gray kitten were sitting side by side on the couch, not fighting, not hissing, just sitting alike to exhausted coworkers who finally realized the shift is over. I sat down with them and said, "All right, both of you, stay here with me. This could be your new home." The kitten purred immediately, like it had been waiting its whole life to hear that. The black cat growled. Of course it did. Then it lifted its chin with all the dignity of a tiny, furry monarch and said, "I have terms and conditions." I stared at it. Of course you do. The cat cleared its throat like it was about to read from a legal document. First, it said, "I require a private room, preferably with velvet." I blinked. "You're a cat." The cat ignored me. Second, the kitten must not touch my cloak, ever, under any circumstances. The kitten immediately touched the cloak. The black cat screamed. "See? This is why we need rules." I laughed so hard, I nearly fell off the couch. "Anything else?" I asked. The cat nodded solemnly. "Yes, third. You must acknowledge me as the senior magical authority in this household." I raised an eyebrow. "Senior magical authority." The cat puffed up proudly. "Yes." The kitten sneezed. The black cat gasped. It disrespected me. I wiped tears from my eyes. "This is going to be fun." The black cat sighed dramatically, looked at the kitten, looked at me, and finally said, "Fine, I accept the truce. But I want it on record that I am not happy about this." The kitten chirped and curled up against the black cat's side. The black cat froze. Then slowly, reluctantly, leaned back against the kitten. And just like that, peace. 2 magical cats, 1 dramatic cloak, a list of terms and conditions, and a living room that still smelled faintly of burnt laundry. I smiled and said, "Welcome home, you two." And for the first time since this whole mess started, the black cat didn't argue. And that, my friends, is how I ended up with a scrying cat, a magical kitten, and a household that now requires a legal department. Join me next time on my Sinister Dreams, where I'll be dealing with whatever nonsense these two conjure up next. Because if there's one thing I've learned, it's that peace is temporary, magic is messy, and cats, magical or not, always come with terms and conditions. Thanks for listening, and don't forget to subscribe for more chaotic tales.